self-centered, and when I say self-centered, I'm not saying in a mean way, into something about I'm going to do this later, I'm going to do that. This is us separating ourselves from the moment and from those who we're with. And it happens all the time. But with practice, we can stop doing it, right? So we're together. We're all together. And what the Course says about this is that about these relationships is that some of these relationships are for this whole lifetime, the whole run of the movie. Some of these relationships we stay together for the whole time, but many others, they just come and go. They just come and go. But even though they seem to come and go, they've not left. That we're all still together. And the pain, the anguish, the upset, the loneliness, all of this comes from this erroneous thought system that says we're alone. When we come to the point of view, even for a moment, that we are not alone, that we're all together, we stop making decisions for ourselves alone. We start making decisions for the common welfare. And this starts to get the movie better right off the bat. As soon as we start making decisions for what's best. And when I say the common welfare, I don't mean we sacrifice anybody. No one is sacrificed. The common welfare means what's best for all of us. So we start making decisions like that. And in order to make the decisions, we ask that spirit, that which is in us, which is greater than our personalities, because see, our personalities are not making good decisions by themselves. Our personalities aren't making good decisions even when we link up with another personality. It's a little bit more helpful. But what we have to do is get quiet and realize that there is that the essence, the truth of us, that's where these answers are going to come from. And then in the relationship, see, if we're not afraid, then we can accept the other person like they are. We don't have to try to change them into something. So many times, what do? We say, oh, God, this person, I love this person so much, it's just fantastic. And then we think, except for this like one thing. If I could just change this one thing. Stop it. Stop doing it. You're just making yourself miserable. And you change that one thing, and you know what? It's not the same person anymore. First of all, you're not going to change them. They may decide that to get along, they're going to go along, and so they're going to act like they're changing, but they're not. You can't change other people. People can change their own thinking. People can change their own actions, but you can't make them. So just accept people as they are. Stop trying to govern people. We got to stop thinking that we can tell the other person in any relationship what they need to do. We just need to let them do what they, and practice this idea. Let me be happy for their happiness. If someone has an activity that they like to do and you don't want to share it with them, don't be jealous that they went off and did the activity with somebody else. Be happy. Be happy because they're happy. That should be enough. So and then the idea comes around of having like this shared purpose. See, the relationship will never last and it will never really be anything unless there is this sense that together we are also a force for good. Yes, just like the Avengers, except you're not going to beat anybody up. That together then this is the idea that when we come together, we are able to contribute more good. Because this overarching purpose then gives us something more than our own little wants and needs and all this whiny kind of stuff going on. And then to not allow the issues of the ego to get in the way of that purpose. To not allow, well, we know what this, money, property, prestige. Money is always an issue. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. You got this much. Make a decision with spirit what you're going to do with it, right? Property, you get the same thing. Prestige. And here's and many of you have heard me say this before. The prestige of being right. This is the thing that interferes with more relationships than anything else. I'm right and they're wrong. And I'm telling you right now, if I get to you first and tell you the story, you're going to think I'm right too. And you're going to get behind me in it. You're going to be my ally. But if the other person got to you first, you'd think that they were right. So consider that for a minute. What's going on there? Don't have to be. I remember when I went to school at Unity Village, the first question this one instructor asked was, here's the most important question of your life. Would you rather be right or would you rather be happy? And people go right off the bat, they go, oh, I'd rather be happy. And they go, oh, wait a minute. And you remember all of the times that you sacrificed your happiness just to prove that you were right. Stood on that rightness. Martyrdom City. To be self-supporting, to stand together. This is so important in a relationship, to say, this is what, in this relationship, I am not looking for this other person to carry me. I am going to carry my share of the burden. But if I need help, I'm not going to be afraid to ask for it. So you get this image of here's what happens. Sometimes we're strong and we're able to stand and we're able to do the things that we need to do in the relationship, but then, man, it gets hard. It gets hard, and that's when we can visualize this standing shoulder to shoulder, kind of just like leaning on each other. And it's important to be able to do this. It's important to be able to take our responsibilities and do them, but when the going gets tough, to remember, we're all in this together. And actually be able to allow the other person to help us. Sometimes even harder is to allow the other person to actually be self-supporting. We want to carry them. Hey, I've got the experience. Equality. We're all equal. No boss. No boss in the relationship. We're all equal. Doesn't matter what your title is. Doesn't matter what your level of education is. Does not matter how much money you make. Everybody in the relationship is equal. In reality, that's the way it is. But we switch it up. We think if in one area we're like equality, shared responsibility for life. This is the next. This will make the movie so good. Makes the movie so good. The burden is not on me anymore to make everything okay. I'm going to share that responsibility with you. Together, we're going to do the things that's going to make this thing better. And see, as the movie gets better, it gets better and better, and our experience in this world gets better and better. What's happening is it's reflecting more and more of the reality of heaven. That may sound controversial, but that's what's going on. The more and more unified we become, the more we are reflecting the kingdom of God. And to keep it going, we don't say bad things about each other. Stop complaining about people to other people. Stop it. If something happens, I'm going to just say, if something occurs and you're hurt, it's important to have a confidant that you can share your hurt with, but not to just give them chapter and verse about of all this person's shortcomings and how they keep doing this and that and oh my God. Talk about, you know what? I feel horrible right now. I feel isolated. I feel lonely. I feel betrayed. Not the narrative of the situation is just a little sideshow. What's important is to get in touch with this is the way I'm feeling, and then hopefully you've got you have a confidant that will lead you to the place where they can say to you, well, this is just temporary. These feelings will pass, and really the truth is the feelings will pass as you change your mind. The feelings will not pass as they change their behavior. I mean, because you can still remember this stupid stuff that you're all upset about. So stop, because every time that we relate the story again in which we were hurt, we relive it. And we can add to it and build it up and make it more. And oh my God, I'm running out of time. Hey. We forgive. We forgive. And part of this thing is too that we refrain from saying the hurtful thing to the other person. This will make the relationship so much better. That moment when you know I can say this thing and that will cut them to man. We just know we can push that button and that's going to do it. Refrain. This is where that idea of don't do anything comes in. You don't have to do anything. Just shut up. Just for a minute. Just for long enough so that you can see that the reason that you're so upset and that you want to do this is some stuff that you made up in your head in the first place. And you can work on a little bit of forgiveness. 2 more things. Be genuine. Be genuine and true. Stop acting like something else. Stop acting like you think the other person wants you to act in any relationship. Just stop it. Just be. Just be who you are in the moment. Don't put on airs. Don't think you have to be this or that. And you know, it is just, it's like an infection that gets into us. And you can just and observe yourself. You will see that when you're with this group of people, you act this way and you say this. When you're that group of people, you do because it's important to fit in. Stop it. Just be real. Just be who you are. See what happens. It's going to be marvelous because you know what? Who you are? That's really attractive. I'm telling you. I'm talking to you. It's attractive. You are attractive. So just be you. And lastly, stop getting so wrapped up in personalities. Sheesh. Just think, man, we all got one. There's a similar saying to that kind of goes along with it. So we all have one. We all have a personality, but it's the personality that we're trying to overcome. This is what we're trying to overcome. This is what we're trying to get past. So instead of focusing on the personality, we need to focus on the principle of things. This is the discipline of it. So in the situation, instead of focusing back, see, when it's personality, it's all past behavior and remembrances of past behavior and all this kind of stuff. But we focus on the principle of things. We're saying, okay, that's the question. What's the principle here? What's the principle here? Not what are the actors doing. What's the principle? And if I can focus on the principle, see, that is a thought that will generate a feeling. And the feeling that principle, if it is principle, the feeling that principle will generate is something like love. So here's what I want to say. You're the director. You're the director. You're the caster. You are assembling the actors in this movie. And a lot of it is subconscious. Some of it is conscious. But we can do something consciously to direct this movie where we want it to go. So the name of your movie can be Crazy Love if you want. It has been. But it doesn't have to be. That's enough.